All right, it says we're live. I don't know if we got audio. Do we have audio? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I have no way to check this stuff anymore. Okay, let's give it a swirl, Earl. Been 2 days since I covered this. She feels pretty good. We're gonna give her a sandout. I got some 2000 and I got some 600. I was watching before I come on here, I was watching a Windy video and he was doing the exact same thing I'm doing here. Windy is an excellent finisher. However, I believe he's steering you down the wrong path. And that path is with that silver. Now I kind of screwed up here. I didn't have any white to go in this. So I'm going to lose, okay, loud and clear. I'm going to lose a little bit because I have to block this out, but I'm going to use white. My next coat of clear on here will be tinted white. I wish I would have brought it up from the wood up, but I didn't have any white when I did this. Now he's talking about Windy. Windy talks about using, first off, Brodak dope. I mean, thanks a lot to Brodak for doing it, but he made a statement in there that Brodak added pigment, and that keeps you from having to decant it. Well, that's true. Now, I can prove this if you use Randolph dope as opposed to Brodak dope, you'll use 50% less paint. Let's see how we're looking here. I don't think we have enough dope on this to sand it with 6, so we'll try 2. I'm gonna have to get some more paint on it, I think. Yeah, there's not enough paint on this. Should be able to do some on the wing, though, I would think. It's all set. We're going to put this together Saturday. Dan's going to come from Indianapolis. We're going to have Saturday at John's with Dan Winship. Dan's another fine craftsman. What I'm looking for here is I don't want any shiny spots. I want it all flat. I want to use the least amount of paint we can get away with. I think it's going to need some more clear on it. I had previously sanded it with 320. We're going to get us a Monado finish again. If it kills me. Bob McDonald called me. He wanted to know where I got my hinges from. I told him I don't know whether... I don't think Bob's a member of Stunt Hanger, but... You know, these guys that don't want to be members... That's entirely up to you, but you lose out. I should have told him. That's a secret. That's the guy that... Yeah, there ain't enough clear on this to sand yet. We're going to go to spray, though, so... I wonder if there's enough on the wing. There ain't enough here to really sand. So we'll set this aside and look at the wing. Well, I don't know. It looks like it's flattening out. I can't tell anymore. That would be Brandon, you betcha. I keep looking at this stuff going on, and I'm thinking, when are we going to run these guys out on a rail? Soon, I hope. I wonder if this thing lost any weight. I'll go with this. Sand this dry here. So, this will be my life for the next 100 hours. Sanding and sanding and sanding. You want to make sure the paper's not loading up. If the paper loads up, you can really dig in some scratches. But we'll get her. We'll get her. Yeah. Uh-oh. We got super chat. That came from Making Model Airplanes. All right. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Everything helps. Things have been really slow. I get it. The economy is total crapola. Not according to Brendan, though. Secret to sanding the open bays is do not sand up onto, don't sand over the top of the rib. You'll cut in that silk span like you can't believe. Or on the trailing or leading edge sheeting. Stay back from it. John put a hole in his wing with the edge of the paper. When it doesn't have much dope on it, it's pretty easy to poke a hole in it. The tissue is not the strength. The dope is what the strength is. Tissue is just holding the dope on the wing until you get it built up. Everybody said, well, I got to have polyspan, or I got to have medium weight, or GM silk span. No, you don't. GM silk span will poke just as easy as this pre-flight silk span will. But it takes twice as much to fill it because it's thicker. They really snookered people. And I've been using double-aught silk span on my airplanes, the lightest silk span I can get for 30 years. And I don't get any, I mean, obviously I have had, if you look back at the Monado build, I think it's on the web. I got 2,500 videos on here, but I think it's on the channel somewhere where I got that airplane covered the same way this one's covered, and I took it out, and the very first flight at Booter Park, I came around on landing, and a stick, the wheel picked up a stick and drove it right through my wing. Very first flight. But dope and tissue is so forgiving, you can repair it, that you can't tell. Cannot tell where that was repaired. Now, the Junar in Huntersville, my friend Jerry Hopp put his thumb through my leading edge, and I mean, it made a big hole, big hole. And immediately, and you know, people were trying to help. I was very frustrated because I wasn't going to be able to fly. So we can put a patch on it. We can put some fiberglass or glue some. Don't do that. Take it home and repair it. You just go, well, my day's ruined. It's not my day. I'll take it home and repair it. And we had it repaired in one day. I flew out the rest of the season with that orange paint job. Then after we stripped it, I repaired it again. It is absolutely hard to believe that my sanding videos do better than any other video any other video I post. The first sanding video on this particular airplane got 600 views in one day, and YouTube sent me, "Wow, your video's really taken off." But 600 views. That's everybody on the planet that flies control lines. So that's it. I mean, if I was doing stupid shit, lighting myself on fire or something stupid, I'm sure that it would be millions of hits. But unfortunately, all I do is sand. But I got to looking at this airplane. I think I'm going to really like it. It's got a really nice shape to it. This is the fourth generation of this airplane. It took me 3 Thunderbolts to get one that I really liked, but although it was a good airplane, it still was heavy. Oh, how long is this going to take? Forever. Sandpaper is like tires. When it gets worn out, throw it away, you get another piece. How do you know when it's worn out? You can hear it. Of course, if you wet sand, it would last longer, but I'm dry sanding because I really don't think I have enough dope on it to protect it from the water. It's only got, I don't know, probably 6 coats of 50/50, so that's really 3 coats, 7 coats, 3 coats. I'd say there's 3 coats 100% on it. Looks like I might have a dinker there. That'll really piss me off. Happy little circles, you bet, Alan. There'll be 100 hours of this. Now this is before it's even together and shot with paint. This is base. I can tell you this. I've been using a hobby shop paintbrush, 1-inch wide hobby shop paintbrush to dope these airplanes. Well, I painted this airplane with a sign painter's paintbrush, and there is a difference, big difference. There's like 0 brush strokes in it. But this kind of stuff is what you have to do if you're going to achieve a nice dope finish. Anybody can put dope on, but not everybody can finish, because not everybody's going to sit down and do this. But in order to get a light finish, you're going to have to do it. There's a couple of spots that I need to fill with acro. Right here, 2 on top. I guess we could do that. Get it going. I want to do most of this work this week before I put it together, because once you get it together, it's kind of hard to handle. Remember, you're not shaping anything, you're just smoothing it out. I had that spot right here in the corner where the cap strip, I didn't sand down, but I sanded through the tissue so I could get that cap strip sanded in the right spot, or and then I put a patch on it. But you won't be able to tell once it's painted. Now, if I had some talcum powder in this, not only would it smell good, but it'd feel good, but it's way too much. Talcum powder is rock, it's Jimson. Everybody says use zinc stearate. Well, zinc stearate feels oily to me. I mean, I don't know what it is. Some type of chemical, but people a lot smarter than me make this stuff, but I'm not using it. I've used it before, but National Free Flight. Glad to be here. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, I look at all of them. You post a video, I look at it. Give you a thumbs up. 600. Now, I don't know if this will show or not, but if you look at this, see those little white spots there? The paper's loading up. Now, if I used water, it wouldn't do that, but you don't want to sand with that because that'll grind circles right in, grind big grooves into the paint. And you can feel it when it starts doing it. Or I can anyway. Sometimes if you wipe it on your pants or shirt or whatever, it'll clear it. Now, I got a lump here, and I think I'm going to have to hit with 320. That's 180 or 320? That's 180. And I use whatever, if there was a big spot there, I'd use 40 grit. It doesn't matter. You just have to, you kind of use your paper to your advantage. Different grits. Got it. Otherwise, I'd be rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and it wouldn't get nowhere. No, that you end up digging holes like that. Well, that's one half a wing. First sand out in it's 1/4 of a wing. Let me see if I got that aqua green. Might as well start getting that stuff ready. Bit of aqua. I need a razor blade. We got one of those. Probably not. There's the wrapper. I'm gonna have to go get me a 100 pack again. I don't see one. Man, I know that drawer comes out farther than that. There it is. I got some boxes out in the car. Ooh, we got some JB Wells we're gonna be using. I got some boxes out in the car so that I can. We got razor blades, so I can start putting some of this stuff away. Clearing out these drawers. Okay. Let's look right here. I don't know whether I can get it over there or not. Now, if you look right here, this wingtip has some problems, because of all the layers together. So we're just going to take some aqua green and smooth it down in there and sand it off. I got a spot here. Let's see. We'll do it on this spatula. use this stuff very sparingly. It is heavy. Sand's nice though. Basically what this is thick paint. Lacquer. It's probably not lacquer, but that's what the old red lead stuff was. Lacquer. I'm not sure what this is. But that'll sand off real nice, real good. It's like frosting a cake. I'm gonna leave no stones unturned on this one. Now this is the bottom, and which is okay. I got this line right here. I don't know how the hell that happened. Sleep sanding, I guess. Didn't pay attention. But not a problem. This aqua green part number once again is 05096. And if you use it, don't use much of it. Now that looks like a lot, but it's only that much. And when I sand this area, I'm going to have to use a small block because it's got a dip in it. Yeah, I think that's about it for acro. You can ruin the model really quick with this stuff. was looking at the Phil Granderson's Diva plans. Man, that's a fugly airplane. Got no design, no shape to it. Had some cheek cal. That's about all it had going for it. Flying box. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Five by five. Okay, that means you hear me loud and clear. Whether you understand or not, that's the thing. So you saw how, I mean, I went over and it looks like I got a whole ton of stuff on here. But I still got, from my original dollop, that much on the razor blades. I don't have any on it, really. It just looks like it. But man, you don't want to put much of this on an airplane. No way. It'd be better to spray primer on it. This is double-aught silk span, lightest silk span you can get. That's all I use anymore. I don't use any. I got GM silk span. You know, I got the old good stuff, the K&S GM silk span back in St. Louis, but it's just too heavy. It covers really nice, but it's too heavy. We're going to wait till we get some more dope on this before, I mean, I'm going to sand these open bays and give it a complete sand out, but I don't want to start wet sanding on it till I got some more dope on it. When you look at this, you can see, because I got good light here, you can see the highs and lows in it. Well, you cover it with whatever you're comfortable with. Depending on your skill level is what you should look at. I mean, to be honest with you, I would cover this with Japanese tissue if I was any good at it. The guy that was good at it died on me before he got to teach me. That's an art from way back when. The bad thing about Japanese silk span, it only comes in 24-inch lengths, unless you get it. I got that stuff. No tissue. I don't use silk. It takes way too much paint. We did it. We did a test. We did a test on 4 pieces of wood, John and I. They all had 3 coats of dope on them. They're all a foot long. They're all 3 inches wide. They all had 3 coats of dope, then 1 with Japanese tissue, 1 with carbon fiber veil, 1 with double-aught silk span, and the other one with GM silk span. Everybody says carbon fiber. That was the weakest stuff. That was dead last. Japanese tissue was first, GM was second, and double-aught was third, I think. And then carbon was last, fourth. I can't remember exactly. You have to go back and look. It's on the channel. We did weight comparisons. We did Kind of like Project Farm. That's impressive. It's powdering off really nice. We'll let this dry a little bit more and we'll hit that with 320 and get that off of there. Tell me, I got an old timer RC that I'm silking. If you're going to do silk, you have to do some tricks. You have to paint it upside down, and it's best to boil the first coat of dope. I can't tell you how to do it because I don't want to get sued when your house burns down. But you definitely want to paint it upside down. See, when you paint it like this, back and forth, the dope will puddle through the silk. But if you paint it upside down, it stays on top. The first coat. It only works on the first coat. There's no need to paint the whole airplane upside down, just the first coat. And let that dry for a day. And then you can paint it regular. These are all tricks that Tom Warden taught me. That man was a finisher. You know, if you look at the airplanes of the 60s, they were finished much better than they are today. I'm using nitrate for the stick on, and we'll be doing several filler coats with nitrate with your SATA touch-up gun. Well, I don't use nitrate. Here's a dope lesson that I'll give everybody for free. Nitrate is to stick the rayon or whatever to metal. Nitrate sticks to metal. Butyrate doesn't. It peels off. It's, you know, we're using real airplane products here. Now, another thing that I've learned, and we just started doing this recently, I quit using tautening dope, the 9703 tautening butyrate dope. We're using non-tautening clear dope. It offers you a couple of advantages. The 9703 let's see, 9703 top coat come on, cats. No, 9703 is the thinner. The Q1 or Q1050 is the insignia white. Oh, there it is. Here is the clear we're using now. It's A-1690 non-tautening butyrate. Oh, there I am with the trophy. And there's the airplane. But that's the clear you want to use. You want to use A-1690. Now, what's the difference? Well, even though it's non-tautening, it's still going to tighten. Hey, John, thank you very much for the super chat. Even though it's non-tautening, it's still going to tighten. The advantage of using it is that the tautening clear is tinted yellow. they have some blue tint too. But if you look at somebody's white airplane, insignia white airplane, after 10 years, they're yellow because they cleared over it with tautening dope. Dope never stops shrinking, whether it's non-tautening or tautening. And if you look at some of the old models from the 60s, they're warped because they never stop shrinking. Remember, when you're doing their covering, you're not looking to shrink the covering. You want to relax it, get all the wrinkles out, and then when the water evaporates, it'll go back to its original state. And that's what's happened here. And I showed that in the silk span for as long as it takes video. And it took about, I think I spent 4 hours silk spanning everything that I had to get, I don't remember. The cost of this silk span, man, I don't know how much. Everything is just getting so ridiculous. You used to buy a little bottle of dope for 15 cents. Silk span was a dime. I think I spent $40-some for 3 packs or 4 packs of double-aught silk span. Ridiculous. Of course, they wanted $25 for 1 piece of wood too. What would you use for primer and clear coat over the Rust-Oleum color? Okay. Get it out of your head that you're going to put anything over the top of Rust-Oleum. The only thing you put over top of Rust-Oleum is more Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum is an enamel. That is a paint that requires tooth, meaning you have to sand it. It has to have 320 grit sand marks in it so it sticks from coat to coat. If you paint dope over that, it'll all wrinkle up and just come right off the airplane. Well, primer, the primers that I'm used to, unless you use a 2-part epoxy primer, which is basically an enamel, is lacquer. And you can't paint lacquer over the top of enamel. So if you want a primer over that type stuff, I don't know why you would do that. Why you would, that's supposed to be your final coat, your over the Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum is supposed to be the final coat if you're going to go that route. Dope underneath and Rust-Oleum over the top. You got to have the surface done. But you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to use an epoxy type primer over the top of Rust-Oleum. If you think back of the days of Aerogloss, the rule of thumb was you can paint SIG paint over anything. You can paint Randolph paint over lacquer. So what's the difference here? They're both dopes. Well, Randolph has a different chemical in it. You could paint SIG over Aerogloss. Let's see, how did that go? You could paint Randolph over Aerogloss and SIG over Randolph, but you can't paint anything with Aerogloss. You could take it out to your car that's urethane and paint a spot on it, and it would peel the paint right off. So it would be Rust-Oleum color only, no primer, no clear coat. John, I hate to lead you down the bad path. I don't know why you want to use Rust-Oleum. That stuff is heavy. Can you paint clear over Rust-Oleum? Yes, 2K clear. That is urethane. These are low. You don't have painting equipment. Okay, do you have dope so that you can do the substrate? I'll tell you exactly how to do this. Can you have a brush and dope that you can do the base with? Okay, so get your base down like I'm doing here with the dope. Make sure that it's absolutely perfect. If you're going to prime, now is the time to prime. You can use any primer on top of the dope. So you prime this and you get it perfect. Sand all the primer off. You don't want to have any of that primer on there because you're carrying around extra weight. Spray a light coat of Rust-Oleum on it. Let it dry. If you want to do trim colors, use Rust-Oleum. Light. I mean, don't load it on there. So your substrate, like I'm doing here, has to be perfect. If you absolutely have to have a coat of clear on it, 2K. Comes in a rattle can, pop the bottom, it mixes, you shake it real good, and then a light coat on it. It cost you, it was $15. I got a can of it somewhere. And you'll have a really nice looking airplane, but it's going to be heavy. Enamels don't gas off. Whatever you spray on stays on. That's why when a guy says, well, I put a coat of urethane on my airplane and only added an ounce. BS. No way. Whatever that can weighs is what the paint job's going to weigh. But with dope, 40% gases off to the atmosphere, and you're only left with the solids. So do as much prep work as you can in the clear. Get it perfect. Look at it really good, and then so dope for primer under the Rust-Oleum. Yes. First step, dope. Brush the coats of dope on, sand between each coat. Brush the coats of dope on, get it ready to go. If you have to use primer, just spot primer it, because you sounds to me like you're going to be using a lot of paint. Don't primer the whole airplane. Just spot primer where the bad spots are. Block sand them, guide coat them, get them all sanded out. You want the woodwork to look like this. And then a light dusting of Rust-Oleum. You don't have to have it opaque. It doesn't have to be put on so thick you can't see through it, because when you set it on the ground, the sun will reflect and it'll be fine. And when you hold it up to the air, you want to be able to see through it. Otherwise, you're carrying around too much paint. So then put your Rust-Oleum on lightly, a light coat. You know, if you want to do 2 coats, a light coat, then a light sanding, and then another coat lightly. Put on your trim colors with Rust-Oleum. Remember, once you switch to Rust-Oleum, you can't go back to lacquers. So the thought of putting primer over the top of that is dirt, that's out. The thought of putting dope over the top of that, that's out. So once you switch to Rust-Oleum, you're stuck at Rust-Oleum until the top coat. Then you can use 2K, which is urethane, and it's also fuel-proof. But it's urethane, it's plastic, so keep that in mind. You pop the bottom of the can, it's got a button on the bottom, it breaks something inside the can, shake it up real good, follow the instructions, and then spray a light coat on, and it'll shine like a diamond. Even shitty woodwork will be hidden. It'll shine like a diamond, but it's going to be heavy. And you just have to live with it. That finish will be 3 to 5 ounces heavier than my finish. But I mean, if you're stuck and you got no spray equipment or any place that you can do it, I mean, there's always a way. Alan Brickhouse. Alan Brickhouse used to monocoat his wings and Rust-Oleum his fuselages. And they look fine. They gave it, he got 16 points at the Nats. But the thing to think about is the paint is not what makes the paint job. The woodwork, the preparation is what makes the paint job. You have to sit down and sand the damn thing until it's perfect. Otherwise, you're just laying paint on it, and that's just the way it is. I don't think I'm going to sand these tonight. I think I'll wait, and we'll sand them with 320 tomorrow. I've been rambling now for 56 minutes. I hope I answered some paint questions. If you're watching windy videos, get silver out of your head. Silver is aluminum. It's metal. It's real metal. It's heavy. Not only is it heavy, it has pore adhesion, meaning that once you spray the silver, even Windy pulls up his paint all the time. If you do it the way I do it, it won't pull up. I mean, we do have sometimes you miss some dirt or whatever on an airplane to get it wiped down, and it'll pull up, some paint. But you got to have enough thinner on it because it chemically bonds from one coat to the next. But with urethanes, it's mechanical bond, meaning you have to have tooth. Any other questions? I've seen some nice monocoat jobs. Louis Rankin does some really nice monocoat jobs. Really nice. Way better than I can do. But the woodwork, the prep work is done perfect before you start. It's kind of like what I taught when I talk about chroming. Chroming is 50 millionths thick. People say, well, why isn't there a drip off the part? Well, that's not how it works. It's a coating. Before that chrome part went into the tank, it looked chrome. The last step, same with anodizing. Before it goes in the anodizing tank, it looks perfect. And then it's put in the tank as a sealer. It treats the metal. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're making our wing and airplane look perfect. Yes, that's a good way to do it. Monocoat the wings, but make the woodwork perfect before you monocoat. Monocoat the wings, Rust-Oleum the fuselage, and you'll have an airplane that'll be competitive. Alan Brickhouse did. I mean, and I can't remember the guy's name. He's got that Aries. That's an 18-point monocoat airplane. It's nice. What the hell's his name? I can see his face and I can see the airplane. I can't pull his name out of my ass. Anyway, he does a super fine job. Got clear wings, yellow, blue fuselage. It's a Juno. Well, we're into it for an hour. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the super chats, John. And I got to scroll up here. John and Making Model Airplanes. Super chats are always appreciated, and they help the channel with my metrics. On Stunt Hanger, I don't know. I hate to beg for money. We're going to have to do a drive so that we can keep stunt hanger going, because the end of next month, $1,300. So when you see that comes up, I'm trying to hold off as long as I can before I do the badge. When you see that comes up, I'm gonna have to raise the money to keep stunt hanger going. So keep that in mind. All right, like, subscribe, and share. And until I see you again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.